Hi everyone, Gemma here. Thank you for watching today. So I'm in the middle of batch making some cards ready for a craft fair I'm attending in November. And I recently bought these stamps from Chloe's Creative Cards and I thought they were absolutely beautiful, and I just wanted to create this really snowy, wintry scene. And this is what I've come up with. So this is an 8x8 card. It's got some gorgeous detail on it with the glitter and silver embossing powder. Created a little bit of colour in the background there with some ink blending, and yeah, I think it looks lovely. So I batch made this card and it did take me a little time, but it was worth it because I'm really pleased with how the card has turned out. So I started with my card bases, then I trimmed my panels, attached them to my card, then I ink blended all my panels. Then I created the trees and I heat embossed those and my sentiment. Then I added all the fluffy stuff and the glitter, and then it comes together really quickly once you've got all your pieces, and I just made them all up then together at the end. I started with my card blank, so I have an 8x8 card base, so it's not a true 8x8, it's 7 7/8 squared. Then I've cut a piece of glitter cardstock and I've attached that to my card flat using some collal glue, and that measures 7 3/4. Let me just double check. Yep, 7 3/4 squared. I've then got a piece of white cardstock that will go over the top, and that is 7.5 inches squared. Just double check again. Yep. So before I attach it to my card base, I'm going to do some ink blending, just a little bit, to add a slight bit of colour in the background. So I've got Distress Oxide tumbled glass. I've got a blending sponge here. I'm going to load up my sponge and just take away the excess because I don't want too much colour. And I'm just creating a circle in the centre of the card panel, and I'm just blending that colour out. As I said, I don't want too much. I'm going to load my sponge up, take a bit off of the excess, start in the middle again, and then work my way out. So I've got a more muted tone around the edges. And then once you're happy with the amount of colour that you have and your blend, it doesn't have to be perfect. As I said, it's just going to be in the background, just to add a slight bit of colour and to emphasise the focal point, which is going to be the trees. I'm just adding a few droplets of water in the section that I've blended. Just give that illusion of snow, I guess. Just going to let that sit for a moment. So while that's sitting, I'm just going to go through the rest of the measurements with you. So while I was preparing all of my elements for the cards, I used an A4 piece of cardstock. I trimmed it to 7.5. So along the long edge, I trimmed it to 7.5. Then trimmed it down so it's a 7.5 inch square piece, and then the offcut I've used, and I'm going to create that into a snowy hill that's going to sit on the card. And then I trimmed an additional piece that measures 7.5 by 3. So this one is 7.5 by 4 1/8. But you don't have to be precise with it, because I am going to tear into this cardstock now. So there's a rough guide of measurements for you. So I've got 2 hills that I'm going to create there. So I'll just start by tearing the bottom piece and just taking a few bits away. I'm just going to try and tear sort of a hill shape, if you will. So we've got some, to give that effect of snow in the background. I'm just going to set those to one side a moment and just take off the excess water on this piece. So as you can see, you've got that oxidized effect there with the water, and it gives the illusion of snow in the background. So I'm going to attach this piece now to my card base. I'm going to set that to one side and let that dry. Next we're going to work on the trees and the hills. So let me just talk you through what I've used so far. So to create the trees, I've heat embossed using Wow Silver embossing powder, and this is from Chloe's Creative Cards, and it's called Snowy Tree, and it's the die and stamp set. So you've got these two different size trees, the outline and then additional stamps and the outline die for those. Then on the Snowy Hills, I've used Simply Made Crafts Christmas Sentiment stamp set. This is an older set. If it's still available, I'll link it in the description box below, but I'm sure many of you have Merry Christmas or something similar within your stash. So I just stamped and heat embossed again in the Wow Silver embossing powder. So I want to add some more detail onto the hills and the trees. And to do that, I'm going to use some glitter and Cosmic Shimmer fluffy stuff. So all I'm doing is following the outline of the tree, and I'm just running a bead of the fluffy stuff along the edge. Now this is traditionally heated with your heat gun, and it creates that lovely fluffy effect, hence the name. But this can also be used as an adhesive. And I'm using it, so I've got that sort of 3D effect of the foam, and then I'm adding glitter on the top. So I'm just going along and following the design of the tree. So I'm doing it within the silver area because I don't want to lose any of that detail. You could colour these in green if you want, add some green glitter, but I was going sort of for a white on white look with my cards. So you don't have to be too precious with this. As you can see, I'm moving along quite quickly, getting that detail on there. And as we see in sort of nature and how the snow falls, it doesn't fall perfectly, so we'll sort of, some will fall off the tree, some will be thicker than others. As long as we can see the design, I think we're happy, or I'm happy anyway. So the glitter that I'm using is the Chunky Crystallina, and this is from Chloe's Creative Cards, and this is the Sparklicious glitter. It's like really pretty chunky glitter with some iridescent pieces in there. So I'm just going to tip that over the trees so it can attach to that fluffy stuff. Just pick the trees up then with my tweezers. So this can get a bit messy, or I find that I'm messy anyway, but that's the whole fun of crafting, isn't it? Getting in a beautiful glittery mess. So just tapping off the excess, and I'll just hold that up to the camera so you can see, hopefully you can see that glitter catching the light and sparkling there. So I am going to set those 3 to one side. I've already prepared the rest of the trees off camera, because as I said at the start of the video, I'm batch making for a craft fair, so I thought I'd take you along with me. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the snowy hills. Tap that excess back into the pot, and on the largest piece I'm just going to create some snow. On the top there, so I'm just following that raw edge along. If you haven't got fluffy stuff, you could use clear PVA glue. I'm sure that will be fine and work just as well. Doing the same then on the bottom piece, and on this one I'm just going to draw in a few extra lines, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. I just randomly add in some detail along that panel. And just add in that glitter on the top. And again, I'm going to set these to one side to let them dry. So I have prepared others off camera, so I'm going to use those to complete my card. If you've got a steady hand and a gentle touch, you could do these direct to your card, but I like to give mine time to dry, as I often put my finger in the glue or the glitter. So I've set my other pieces to one side to let them dry, and I'm going to work on the ones that I prepared earlier. So for the largest hill, I'm going to attach that flat to my card base. I'm going to avoid the top section just in case I need to tuck some trees behind there. So this one I'm adding flat with some collal glue, and this will line up perfectly to the bottom edge. I'm going to add the next layer with some foam. Now I've just cut a piece of Creative Craft Products foam adhesive sheets. You can use foam pads as well if you wish. I just thought this would cover a larger area. So I'm just being mindful that this may still be wet and I don't want to put my finger in it. Again, leaving that top edge more exposed. You can add on a bit of liquid glue as well if you wish, to give you a bit more wiggle time. I'm just going to line up the bottom edge again. Press that down. So I'm going to add my largest tree first, again using some foam adhesive. And I'm just going to roughly place that in the center there. So I've popped that up onto some foam, and I've also added some pin flake glue gel. This is a 3D gel. So this is new to my stash, so I thought I'd give it a go. Sort of an alternative to hot glue, so less strings. And then lastly, just finishing off by tucking those last two trees just behind it. Then just to add a finishing touch, I'm going to bring in some gems from my stash. So there's the final card. Just hold it up and move it around in the light, so hopefully you can see all that lovely glitter shining and all the lovely detail from the embossing powder. So I think it's a gorgeous card, and these trees are absolutely beautiful. I love the size on them as well, really versatile for those big and smaller cards. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, you might want to hit that like button. I really appreciate it if you could, and that will help support and grow the channel. If you recreate this card or anything else inspired by my channel or Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, then please share on the group Gems. If you're not a member, I'll pop a link in the description box below so you can join that group. Any products will be listed in the description box below. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!